I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best.
One of the greatest welterweights ever. Born in Cuba. Started his career in Cuba. The Cubans outlawed boxing, pro boxing, in the early 60s. And then he campaigned in Mexico and America as well. Don't let them old school Mexicans hear you calling him Cuban. They definitely took him as one of their own and supported him all around the world. On the come up, he beat Carlos Morocho Hernandez, a former world champion. He avenged an earlier points defeat to Alfredo Urbina by knocking him out twice. First time in the first round and the second time in the third. He beat former light welterweight champion Eddie Perkins, beating him by decision in 10 rounds. Eddie was a good fighter. He beat Adolf Pruitt, who he would eventually defend the title against as well. He beat very good opponents, the likes of Clyde Gray, who gave a young Tommy Hearns his first real test as a pro. Lost to Carlos Monzon in an attempt to wrest the middleweight title. The only time he was really outclassed in his career, you could say. He certainly weren't a middleweight. He weighed in at 153, same day weigh-in. Monzon came in at 159, just a pound or so under the middleweight limit. And Gil Clancy reckons that Monzon probably came in about 10 pounds heavier by fight time, probably more. He just couldn't avoid them right crosses, and Monzon's range just really done him in. He retired on his stool after the 6th. This was a super fight. There was a lot of buzz about this fight. It was a super fight. Undisputed welterweight champion against undisputed middleweight champion. But it ended in a very anticlimactic fashion. The fight's on YouTube, like they're introducing all these people into the ring, like George Carpentier, Hedgeman Lewis, who was the #1 contender for NAPOLES' 147-pound title. Joe Budden was there. The event was held in France. And when they were introducing all the dignitaries and formalities, Monzon was impatient and he was, trying to get warmed up, throwing punches. Not a lot, but NAPOLES just sat in his corner virtually until the referee was calling instructions and it was time to fight. So I don't know if he was cold going in, but Monzon is an ATG middleweight. Curtis Cokes, another very good fighter who we took the title from. Very good fighter, very good trainer as well. He successfully defended against all-time great freeweight champion Emil Griffiths. This guy was that guy. He lost his title in an upset to Billy Backus, with the big upset. Should have been a routine defense. I remember reading about it in Boxing News, but I saw it on YouTube. A huge upset at the time in the industry. Yes, there's no commentary on it. It's quite a clear picture, but it's hard to determine if it was headbutts or punches that caused the cuts. He had severe cuts. There were some great exchanges in there, and when you exchange like that, going toe to toe, you can get cut, legally or illegally. A big upset. A lot of people say Backus headbutted his way to victory. Billy Backus, the nephew of the late great Carmen Basilio, former welterweight and middleweight champion, who owns a victory against Sugar Ray Robinson. NAPOLES, however, aka Mantequilla, aka Smooth as Butter, is how the Mexicans referred to him, regained his belt. They brought Angelo Dundee in. And once again, he got cut very early in the first round. Then he cut Backus. Like, low place, wherever you are, I hope you're good. Low place would have loved NAPOLES. NAPOLES didn't hold, and he let his hands go. He threw jolting shots and good combinations. So his fights were entertaining to watch. Backus was he was a big southpaw. He was a good fighter, No more than a trial horse or a journeyman, in all truth. But NAPOLES was good at punching in between your punches. That's what he was good at. And he jacked up Billy this time, floored him a couple of times and got the stoppage. He fought an opponent named Armando Muniz twice. The first fight is supposed to be an out-and-out war. I've never seen it. I don't know if it's on YouTube yet. I remember I used to keep looking for it. But NAPOLES beat him twice. He first won the belt in 1969, lost it to Backus, then won it back. And in 1975, he finally lost the belt to Britain's John H. Stracey from London in Mexico City. The fight took place in a bull ring. Stracey gets off the canvas in a very hostile atmosphere in the first round, and he cuts NAPOLES really badly and beats him into a stoppage. That was NAPOLES' last fight. That was one of the highlights in British boxing at that time in the 70s. Is Stracey taking that title from Jose NAPOLES. Possibly the best win from a British fighter in the 70s. Possibly. What am I saying? It's one of the best wins by a British fighter of all time. That fight put Terry Lawless on the map. That fight there. As far as I'm concerned. If you're old school British and you can debunk that, I'd be interested. But I believe it's that fight there. I don't know what the betting odds, but nobody gave him much of a chance. The British press certainly didn't think he was going to do anything. They were optimistic, but he pulled it off. The Mexican government granted him citizenship after he beat Curtis Coates for the title. John H. Stracey has led the condolences. He beat him in his last fight. He paid tribute to his former rival on Friday. I'm very proud to have shared a ring with the great Jose NAPOLES, Stracey said. 40,000 people turned up to watch NAPOLES fight the Londoner. That was the pulling power he had in Mexico. What a magnificent fighter he was, and what a great champion. Look how long he reigned as a champion. This is such a sad day. John H. Stracey. A very slick fighter, as Eastside Boxing point out. He's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and rightly so. Mike Tyson. Mike is a historian. He's paid his respects to history. Unlike a lot of boxers these days and a lot of fans, I'd expect no less from Mike. He became friends with John H. Stracey after losing his title to Stracey. He was 35 years of age. So, wear and tear was taking its toll. He had been struggling with his health over recent years. I certainly want to big him up. They don't build him like that anymore. They just don't. So he passes away, 79 years of age. 81 wins, 54 KOs, 7 losses. From behalf of Boxing Beats and Rhymes and all my subs, R.I.P.